Hey guys, in today's video, we're gonna talk all things strawberry skin on the legs, the best skincare products, the best skincare habits to get rid of, to improve, and to prevent strawberry skin. What the heck is strawberry skin anyway? When people say they have strawberry skin on their legs, it runs the gamut of a few skin conditions. Number one is keratosis pilaris. Now I have a lot of specific videos on keratosis pilaris, but it's not unusual to have this on the thighs, the lower legs. It is a dry skin condition. You have a buildup of dry skin around the hair follicle. It leads to impairment of the barrier there, and so you have a little rough dry skin bump on a red base. And it tends to come and go. There is no cure for it, but I will give tips, tricks, and strategies to control it. Number two on the legs is going to be shave irritation or irritation related to hair removal. Very common. Can cause a lot of irritation around the hair follicle. That leads to redness, and it can lead to hyperpigmentation, little dark spots around the hair follicle. For some people, they can be prone to developing ingrown hairs. So the hair, because of its shape, as it's growing, it actually curves and pierces the neighboring skin and grows downward where it's not supposed to be. Your body mounts an inflammatory response against it, and you develop a bump. You can get a little pus bump. It can become discolored, dark. That is known as an ingrown hair. But another common issue on the lower legs, especially, that a lot of people will sometimes say, oh, why does my skin look like a strawberry, is something called a capillaritis. We also call this Schamberg's disease. It is basically inflammation around the little teeny tiny blood vessels, the capillaries that course through the skin. And it's really common to occur on the lower legs because of the pressure there that those little vessels have to endure because, well, all of your body weight is sitting on top of them. So what happens is a lot of people who maybe engage in sport where they have to stand for a prolonged period of time, such as golf, walking, running, or just standing for a long time, may be related to your occupation. It puts a lot of pressure there. The little blood vessels become leaky. They leak out some fluid into the surrounding skin. That leads to some inflammation, and that results in the appearance of what is described as cayenne pepper petechiae. Petechiae are just little spots that are the result of blood leaking into the skin. It comes, it goes. There's no cure for it, but I will give you some tips and tricks to prevent this from occurring. Now, capillaritis is an umbrella term for actually a couple of different subtypes, and the one that I'm referring to is called Schamberg's disease, where you get those little cayenne pepper petechiae. For some people, the skin can end up becoming discolored, yellowish, and they can kind of come together. But it does also happen where you have this little sprinkling of little red dots on the lower legs. If you have a deeper skin tone, it's not going to appear red. It's going to appear almost like a violet gray. Stay consistent moisturizing your skin. Moisturizers act as a barrier. They help improve the water content in skin's outermost layer, and ultimately that allows things to turn over more efficiently. If you have keratosis pilaris, you really need to be moisturizing. If you have post-shave irritation, moisturizer is going to come on in and help to improve barrier function so as to mitigate water loss and flares of irritation and allow for recovery. If you have ingrown hairs, moisturizers will not get rid of ingrown hairs, but they will help in reducing their formation. And if you have capillaritis, there is some thought that consistent moisturizing may also help as well. You may want to skip out on the self-tanner because that can make the appearance of keratosis pilaris on the legs worse. One of my favorite skincare products for the body, for the lower legs, it's going to address a lot of these issues and help to rejuvenate the appearance of the legs and can improve ingrown hair formation, irritation via its moisturizing effects, as well as soften, smooth, and exfoliate dry, rough bumps, is the Gold Bond Age Renew Retinol Overnight Moisturizer. It's a lotion with retinol that can help improve the turnover of skin cells. So if you deal with keratosis pilaris, that can be helpful. But this particular moisturizer also has urea in it, which can hydrate and soften those dry, rough bumps. If you don't want to use a moisturizer with retinol in it, say you're pregnant, retinol is contraindicated, or you're just not interested in using retinol, alternatively, I suggest using a moisturizer with an alpha hydroxy acid. A go-to recommendation for a long time has always been amlactin. Amlactin has lactic acid, or ammonium lactate, if you will, which can get in there and soften those dry, rough bumps. But regardless of the cause of your strawberry skin, moisturizers with these ingredients, urea, alpha hydroxy acid, retinol, they can really help improve the hydration, smoothness, as well as improve the barrier function of your skin and ultimately rejuvenate the appearance of strawberry skin. Not going to get rid of it, but can definitely help. Now, let's talk about shaving, because this can make or break strawberry skin. You don't want to get shave irritation. You don't want to put yourself at risk for ingrown hairs. All of these things can lead to strawberry skin. So how you shave is really important. You want to make sure, first and foremost, that you have a good, sharp razor. Don't store your razor in the shower. It makes the blades dull much faster. Take it out of the shower, lay it on a dry washcloth to dry fully, and make sure that you are using a razor with a sharp blade. When you shave, before you start shaving, make sure you have allowed the hairs to get wet. Wet hairs cut much more efficiently than dry hairs. Always use a lubricating shave lotion, cream, gel, foam, or oil. Those of you who have been watching some of my favorites videos, some of my skincare product of the month videos, you know I am a huge fan of these newer shave oils. I find they are really nice for lubricating the surface of the skin, keeping the skin moisturized and protected while shaving. I will list some of my favorites down below. Take short strokes. Make sure you shave in the direction of hair growth, and try to not shave the same area multiple times. Shaving is exfoliating. To a certain extent, if you're dealing with keratosis pilaris, that mechanical exfoliation can help you out, but by going over the same area multiple times, it's too much, can lead to shave burn, razor burn, irritation, aggravate things. That irritation can heal with a dark mark. Don't press too hard. I'm guilty of this myself, but you don't need to press very hard, especially if you're using a razor that is not dull. You don't really need to press that hard to cut the hair. The harder you press, well, that starts to lead to shave irritation. A lot of people, though, no matter how careful they are, no matter how meticulous they are with shaving, they still get a lot of shave irritation. They still get ingrown hairs. So alternatively, you might elect to pursue alternative methods of hair removal, such as waxing, or using a depilatory cream, such as Nair. These are options. They also can be irritating. Check out my video, as a side note, on hair removal. I go into more detail about how to do these things effectively, efficiently, and with minimizing risks of irritation. However, for people with keratosis pilaris, waxing can sometimes aggravate it, because it's basically stripping away some of the moisture barrier, which at baseline is an issue for people with keratosis pilaris. Alternatively, you might want to invest in laser hair removal. That can certainly make a difference in your need to remove the hair. It slows down hair growth, and it can lessen overall hair density to a point where you really don't need to shave at all. It's not right for everyone. Depending on the color of your hair and your background skin type, it can be challenging and it can be expensive. An alternative to laser hair removal that is in fact permanent hair removal is electrolysis, and it can effectively permanently lead to hair removal, because basically it involves essentially inserting this little needle-like tool down the hair follicle and destroying the hair, and it won't grow back. The issue with electrolysis for a lot of people is that it's very time intensive, especially a large area like the legs. So you have to realize that you're going to commit to many sessions in order to remove the hair. Now, for those of you who deal with capillaritis, try and elevate your legs and consider wearing graduated compression stockings when you do have to be on your feet all day. This can really help. That compression from the stockings helps push the fluid out of your legs back up to your heart, and it can help in reducing the pooling there. That puts a lot of pressure on those little capillaries and leads to flares of capillaritis. Again, moisturizing can make a difference, can really help. But if you are dealing with this on an ongoing basis, your dermatologist might prescribe you a steroid cream to calm down some of the inflammation. It certainly can help. This one's kind of an odd recommendation, but it definitely is something that I recommend to patients with capillaritis in certain situations. Is if you feel like your flares of little red spots are aggravated by certain foods, ask yourself this: are they foods with red dyes? For whatever reason, many foods with red dyes, or dyes in general, a lot of dyes, seem to be associated with these flares of capillaritis. That's a bit of a patient anecdote, but it is something that a lot of dermatologists have observed with their patients with capillaritis, and it's not necessarily going to be the right approach for everyone, but if you do find that there is an association there, try cutting back on foods that have dyes in them. It may help. Consider slugging your legs. You've heard of slugging probably. If not, what the heck is it? Well, it's basically the practice of applying a layer of an ointment to your face, usually at nighttime, as the last step in your skincare routine to really reduce transepidermal water loss. But I personally end up using the slugging approach myself far more on my body than on my face. And I personally slug every night from the knee down, all the, my entire foot, my ankles, and my shins. And it really helps me a lot with cutting down on dry skin on my feet, on my ankles. And it's even better than just moisturizer alone, I have found. So that's another thing. You go ahead and just slather plain petroleum jelly, for example, as an ointment, Vaseline all over your feet and lower legs. Get yourself some old pajama pants that you don't care about and put them on. It can really help keep that petroleum jelly on the skin and really help seal in moisture. And with consistent use doing this, you'll really note an improvement in dry skin, irritation, keratosis pilaris, and possibly even capillaritis. It really can rejuvenate the appearance of the skin, and it's cost effective. Normally in all of my videos, I put a lot of emphasis on sun protection, and this really is no exception, but none of these conditions themselves are directly caused by unprotected sun exposure. But do know that if you have any kind of skin problem going on, whether it be ingrown hairs, shave irritation, or keratosis pilaris, that inflammation can heal with a dark mark that can take a very long time to go away, especially on the legs. And unprotected sun exposure will make that hyperpigmentation very stubborn and persistent. The lower legs from your knee down, they have kind of a funny blood supply. They're areas of the lower leg that don't actually get the best circulation, even in people with really good circulation. And for that reason, they are just a very slow to heal territory. Like if you get a cut on the lower legs, a scrape, you've probably noticed this, it takes a little bit longer to heal than maybe on your arm. That is a big reason why. It has to do with the blood supply. Hyperpigmentation, persistent redness, these are things that also are very slow to resolve on the legs. That's one reason why you might find that the strawberry leg issue is very stubborn and seems to be something that you can't quite get ahead of. But hopefully the tips I have given you in this video and the explanations as to the underlying causes for strawberry legs are helpful. Consistency is key. None of these things are going to cure these issues. If you stop doing all of these things, it's likely that the strawberry skin will flare back up potentially. So just set your expectations moving forward that you need to establish a routine that works for you and that you can stick with. But if you guys enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.